let's read down my physical TBR. I've been making content since 2014. Over time, I've accumulated over 100 books. It's my goal in 2026 to continue to read down my physical TBR, deciding what stays and what goes. And I'm taking you with me. Hi, I'm Alex. This is Books and Paperbacks, where I love to shout about queer and trans books. Welcome to another episode of TBR Tackle. This is my series where I tackle my physical TBR 2 books at a time with a twist. It's the first episode of 2026. Today, I am going on a bookish scavenger hunt to pick what I read. Let's go on a scavenger hunt. It's time to finally pick the books that I will be reading for this episode of TBR Tackle. This scavenger hunt is pretty old. I will have the original video down below, as well as Kayla from Books and Lala's video. She does this pretty frequently, and she created her own prompts. The gist is to follow the prompts. The prompts will lead me to specific books, and I will have bookish prompts that lead me to the books that I will be reading. Starting with my favorite book, Icebreaker by A.L. Grazia Day. The first prompt says to grab your favorite book, flip to the acknowledgements, and the first name you see, you have to find a book with an author who has the same name. Oh, Benjamin. Actually, this is perfect. My books are in 2 rooms at the moment, so this might get a little difficult. I picked Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. Now I have to find something on the cover and find a book that has a similar thing on the cover. So we have a boy. I could use that. Here's a backpack that actually might be a little bit easier. So let me see if I can find a backpack. Middle grade is probably my best bet because this is middle grade. I'm thinking of a book, but I don't own that said book. So let's see what I can find. For the amount of YA books I have, the fact that I can't find any with a backpack is kind of concerning. I found it. This Day Changes Everything by Edward Underhill does indeed have a backpack. I am counting this as a backpack. Now I have to go to page 50 and find a word and then find a book that has that word in the title. Move. This is probably the hardest one so far. Do I have a book with Move in the title? Like, do I own one? I'll have to think about it. Alright, if I can't find Move, what else do I have? Come. Okay. Let's try to find Move or Come. Come might be a little bit easier. Okay, that took way longer than I expected, and I still didn't actually complete this prompt. I'm going to stretch it a little bit because I really don't have that many physical books. So here's what I came up with. For Make, I found Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. I just got this for Christmas. And for Come, I have How to Become a Planet. For the next prompt, I have to find a book that has the same colors on the cover that I've given a 5-star. Now, I don't rate books anymore, so I'm just going to pick a book that I enjoyed and is one of my favorites. So with these 2 books, I will try and find a book with maybe blue or purple on the cover. This might be a little easier for me as it has red, purple, and blue. So I can find something with these colors on the cover. This actually might be perfect. I don't think I have red. I do have some blue and purple in this book. I could go with this. Let me see if I can find one that specifically matches. Oh. Perfect. Lucky red. It has some more colors. I know that there's not a lot of blue. There is more like down here, but I think this works. Okay, now I have to find a book with the same number of pages as Lucky Red. Let's see here. $2.92. I have some short books. What I'm going to do is if I can find something similar, 5 pages or less, I'll do that because I don't know if I'm gonna find a similar book, but we'll see what happens. Yes, I found it. There has 292 pages. Let's go. Flip open to any page. The first name you see, find a book by an author who shares that same name. All right, let's see. This is actually perfect because it's about a powwow and there's like a bunch of different characters. So this might be easy. I definitely do not have an author with the name of Manny, so we're gonna have to try again. Jackie. I do have some Jacqueline Woodson. Oh, if not, I have Thomas and Bobby. Okay, I could not find anything. I'm bending the rules. I couldn't find any of these people, so I am going to use Aiden Thomas. It is his last name, but it is in his name. Now I have to find a title with the same number of letters. Cemetery Boys is 12 letters, so let's find something with 12 letters. That was easy. Disappoint Me is 12 letters. Now I have to find a book with a similar cover. I don't think I'm gonna find that. We have a woman on a couch and she's holding a book. Oh, that's gonna be tough. Oh my gosh. If I could maybe just find something similar, maybe just somebody sitting down somewhere. The colors are similar and they are sitting in a diner. I couldn't find anybody sitting on a couch, but I have people sitting. We have people sitting on a bench in a diner. I feel like this is my contender. Or in a window. I feel like this kind of goes. But I want the same colors, so I'm just gonna go with this. I know it's not as similar, but what are you gonna do? Let's go with Call Your Boyfriend by Olivia A. Cole and Ashley Woodfolk. I know they're sitting at a diner, but like, at least there's people sitting. We have some pink. And I don't feel like looking through all of my books again. Now I have to flip to a page, point at a word, and find a book that I haven't read off my TBR shelf that has that word in the title, and that will be my first book. I pointed at here. All right, let's see if I have here. If not, let's do it again. His. I don't think I'm gonna have his. Perfect. Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I do think it's a heavy book about grief, which could be a hit or miss for me right now, but we'll see what I think. I actually got this book in San Francisco when I was there in 2021, and I got it at a used bookstore. Now let's do it all again to get the second book. A speed run it this time. Executive decision here. I will film it for my Patreon and Bindery members, so any paid member will be getting this exclusive content because they get exclusive content every month, behind the scenes content, so I will be doing that as well. That was fun, but now I'm going to have to clean up so many books. Here are my final contenders for this episode of TBR Tackle. For the first scavenger hunt, I picked Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles, and I picked 2 books for my second contender. I'm going to read these and just see what I feel. The Beautiful Something Else by Ash Van Otterloo, and It's All in How You Fall by Sarah Henning. This was fun, but now I have to go clean everything up. I will see you once I start reading. Hello, lots to catch you up on. My computer had to get repaired for a week because I accidentally spilled cereal on it. Why did I do that? I couldn't tell you, but I did learn from my mistake. I take very good care of my products and devices, but we all probably know where my brain is at the moment, and I'm just trying to get through each day. So that happened and set me behind on content and work and just everything, but I'm back and I'm currently in the middle of my Patreon readathon. I started this back in October. It's really fun to read with everybody. I hosted sprints a couple of days ago, and I have been reading Tyler Johnson Was Here. I finished it last night, so I am here to review it for you. This follows Marvin, a senior in high school. His brother Tyler is murdered at the hands of police, and he wants everybody to know about this and not stop talking about it. It talks about police brutality, racism. Marvin has a lot going on in his life. His father is in jail for a crime that he didn't commit. He lives with his mother. His twin brother just died, and he is at the lowest point in his life. He's also trying to get into college. Everyone thinks he's going to go to MIT, but the people at his school treat him terribly. The principal literally says to him he wouldn't even make it in MIT. Why would he even want to go there? And that is a reality for many Black teens. They are told in school that they don't matter and they will go nowhere. I really liked the character development and the end of the story. I felt closure with where the characters wrapped up. I also liked the little romance that we have here. At first I wasn't sure about it, but as it went on, I really enjoyed it. It's important to be having these discussions because police brutality hasn't stopped. It's still happening. I am glad that there are stories like this, but it is very important to also have joy. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. The writing was really good. I'm sad that J. Cole's only has another book that he's written, but I'll definitely be picking this up. So those are my thoughts on Tyler Johnson Was Here, and I will be linking to some Black reviewers because they're gonna say it better than I can, and I think it's important to listen to the voices that these stories are for. I'm 8 pages into It's All in How You Fall, and I'm not liking it at all. I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I think I'll at least read 20 to 30% and see how I feel. I don't know what it is, but I just feel uncomfortable reading this. I don't know what it is. I hope that that feeling changes and I will update you. My nightmare is over. I got to 30% and I am DNFing this book. Let me grab my notes because I have a lot to say. So I initially bought this in 2022. I believe I pre-ordered it. I liked the concept. It sounded interesting, but the execution is not there. I have so many problems with this book. First off, the dialogue is so unnatural. When I was reading this, I'm just like, I feel like a teenager wouldn't say that. It feels like the author hasn't been around teenagers in a long time because there are so many references to things that I don't know if teenagers would relate to anymore. The references they might know, there's a mention of 21 Jump Street, but like the 90s version, not the movie with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. There's also a reference to Forrest Gump. I feel like that's probably something a teenager would know, but this book just feels outdated. I read YA very frequently, and this just didn't offer what I wanted it to. The writing is clunky, and again, it feels unnatural. There were some lines that were questionable, and I found some typos. I feel like this could have been better if an editor actually bulked it up and removed some things that were outdated. I just keep feeling like this is an outdated book, even though it was published in 2022. Thinking about teens, I just don't know if they would relate to this. I did like the concept though. Like I said, I pre-ordered this to support the book because I thought it was an interesting concept. We have a 15-year-old girl named Caroline who learns that she can't be a gymnast anymore. She has chronic back pain and it is just gonna get worse if she continues to do this. She is distraught, but she doesn't have a lot of supportive people around her. Her coach and dad are supportive, but her brother was insufferable. I understand having a brother character who is mean and doesn't like his sister, but I think there's a way to have that character, but still have him show some sympathy. There is a scene right after she is diagnosed with her condition, and she goes to a restaurant with her brother, Nat, and his friend Alex. They start talking about the diagnosis. Caroline has been a gymnast pretty much her whole life, and her brother was so disrespectful. Basically, he tells her to move on, that she shouldn't be upset about this. That made no sense to me. I don't understand why we needed that. Now, I haven't read the rest of the book, so I don't know if it's challenged or if he maybe comes around and apologizes. That was just so weird, and again, felt unnatural. Because If your younger sister learns that she can't be a gymnast anymore, I would imagine that you would at least have some sort of sympathy for her, even if you are the annoying older brother. That really pissed me off because I'm like, why should she get over it? She's 15 and it just happened. Her whole life is turned upside down and she has to figure out what to do now. She thought gymnastics was gonna get her to college and was going to be a part of her life. That felt so unnecessary. I just feel she didn't get enough support, and now that could be realistic. I am not a gymnast, so I wouldn't know, but it just felt weird. This whole book was weird. Those are my main complaints. The main plot is why I was interested in this. She dates different sports. She basically lands on tennis, and I read a bunch of reviews that said it felt like the author didn't do her research because a lot of the sports that they tried would be very intensive for your back. This was incredibly disappointing. In past TBR Tackles, if I DNF a book, that's usually when I end the video. Luckily, when I was doing this scavenger hunt, I picked another book. So I will be reading The Beautiful Something Else by Alder Van Otterloo. This is a middle grade, it's pretty short, so I'm hoping to finish this in a couple days. It's Saturday, March 7th, and I just finished up The Beautiful Something Else, and it was beautiful. Queer middle grade just hits different. Alder kills it every time. I loved this so much. We follow Sparrow, a non-binary teen who comes into their identity throughout the book. Their mother is dealing with addiction and becomes unable to parent Sparrow. Sparrow ends up living with their Aunt Mags, who is a trans woman who takes them in with open arms. Aunt Mags is by far my favorite character. I loved the world we were in. It was very warm and inviting. This has so much community, and I loved how supported Sparrow was. We saw Sparrow coming into their identity, but also fighting back because of the words that their mother used to them. Basically, throughout the time of living with Aunt Mags, Sparrow uncovers some secrets about their mom, but they also keep thinking that they need to save their mom. Specifically, there's a line that says they have to be the hero. Both heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. I just love the way this was written. I don't have any notes. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm so glad I read it. Some content warnings are descriptions and experiencing gender dysphoria, some internalized homophobia and transphobia from adults, and also a minor character. And the biggest topic here is addiction, a parent who is dealing with addiction and is unstable. I don't know if that's the correct word, so apologies if that's not the sensitive word for it, but we do have a parent who can't be a parent at the moment, so they need extra help. I loved the family dynamics here, just getting to learn about everything that's happening. This was so great. If you are looking for more middle grade, Alder is my favorite. And that's going to do it for episode 7 of TBR Tackle. If you want to catch up, the playlist will be linked down below. I love this series. It's been so much fun. The majority of books that I included in my best books of the year was from TBR Tackle, so I'm excited to see what makes my list for 2026. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Alex. I'm a trans man who loves to uplift queer and trans books on my corners of the internet. If you're into that, hit subscribe. Thank you so much to my top members on Patreon and Bindery for their support this month. You are the best. I appreciate you so much. If you'd like to support me further, Bindery is the best way. The link is down below. If you go over to Bindery, become a free or paid member, you can get a book recommendation from me and have access to my private Discord and weekly exclusive content. If you want more from me and to interact with my community, that's the best way. If you'd like to watch more, YouTube suggests this video and you can subscribe there. Bye.